What up, though? And welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Curt Steele. Today, we look at whether or not Jameson Williams will get a second contract with the Lions. If you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. Hey, we're on our way to 3,000 subscribers, and we're currently sitting at 2784. So like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us with that YouTube algorithm. Now we have channel membership, so go check that out, man. It's another way to help us grow the show. Now it's time to bring in my illustrious co-host for today's show. First up, y'all know who it is, man. Yak Town, don't back down. He is the biggest player. He's the auntie's favorite Detroit Lions content creator. My man, LL Cool Toys. What's going on, my guy?
What's happening, everybody? Shout out to Sean Preston, Yaktown on back down.
And of course, it's the hardest working man down there in Jackson, Michigan. He's cooking meals, he's coaching kids, and he got a gang of kids himself. It's the Wolf of Lion who?
I got so much stuff to do before 10 o'clock a.m. It's ridiculous. Coach Mike Jones, what's going on, Lion fans?
If you're new to the channel and you don't know how our show works, we look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, and takes. If we agree, give them a boss up with that blade dance. If we disagree, say they're a bald on. We give our reasons why we agree or disagree. No hot takes here. It's just our true thoughts and opinions about what's going on with our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. And shout out to our affiliate sponsor, Dubby, for sponsoring the show. So we appreciate you, and we'll get more into what Dubby is and where you can find it later on in the show. But we're here to talk about one thing this morning, and then multiple things. But the main thing is Coach Jones is going to talk about Big Waymo. So what you got there, Coach Jones?
Yeah, man. So I just want to first start off by saying good morning, everybody. But you know what? Brad Holmes is one honest guy. I mean, he tells it like it is. So yesterday at the league owners meeting and stuff like that, he said that they were probably going to pick up Jameson Williams' fifth-year option. And really, he didn't really commit other than that. And I was like, wow, you think about Jameson Williams and how he's grown in Detroit. And when you think about the number on Jameson Williams, and he said it. He said receivers are expensive in the NFL, man. And when you look at Jameson Williams, he came in hurt. So you can't really knock him for that. But then he had those two suspensions that really slowed his progression down a lot, tremendously. He had 41 yards, 354 yards, and then finally last year he just eclipsed 1,000 yards, going for 1,001. And what number do you put on that? And I agree with the fifth-year extension because you want to see steady progression from Jameson Williams. You want to see, okay, now can you hit 1,200? And then you think about our overall offense, that run first mentality. Do we have room for two 1,200-yard receivers? I don't know, man. That's the big question, man. But me personally, I would want to re-sign Jameson Williams, extend Jameson Williams. Brad said the right thing. He's going to exercise that fifth-year option, and they want to see one more year of production from Jameson Williams. Because if you look, every player that they have extended has shown production steadily over the course of at least 2 seasons. Man, that's because one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to let a weapon like James Williams go. Because if Detroit Lions let him go, Ben Johnson gonna pick him up. Like you already know that, man. And it might not even be necessarily Ben Johnson, but Miami Dolphins, they empty the bank on a receiver with a quick second. So it's like, do you really want to pay Jameson Williams the type of money, close to what Amon-Ra St. Brown is getting? No, you don't. But do you want to let a weapon like Jameson Williams go, and now he's on another team doing what he was doing here and then some? No. So we are really in a tough spot in Detroit, because you got Kirby Joseph coming up, you got Brian Branch coming up. Man, it's Sam Laporta be coming up soon. Yeah, it's just a lot of tough decisions that are going to be made in that front office in Detroit. But you know what? One thing I got to say, in Brad we trust. So with that being said, how do y'all feel about Hey, Curt, put the screen on him first. Don't let him piggyback off what you got to say. Let him go first on his thoughts about Jamo.
I'll let him go
He's
next.
smiling, shaking his head, and all of that.
I sure am, because this is my opportunity to talk bad about Jared Goff. If we had another quarterback, Jameson Williams we would have to sign him now because he's going to be too expensive. This is he may not be re-signed here, just simply because of the market and because we already paid Amon-Ra St. Brown $30 million. When that happened, I said that's a lot. I wouldn't pay no wide receiver $30 million, but whatever, we paid him. Of course, we just saw.
Well, that's cheap now.
Right. That's exactly. You stopped me right before I could say that. Was it Jamar Chase just got whatever he got, and he reset the market, so it's going to be pretty much near that from here on out if the numbers allow for it, and if the numbers don't allow for it, somebody just want to pay him that much. Of course, you'll probably leave to go take that. But it was a meme a long time ago, and if I ever shared it with y'all, but it was like if Jameson Williams had Stafford as a quarterback, and they had a picture of what's my man, the cheetah from Miami up there. I don't know if it would be something like that. Yeah, but he would have much better production if I believe we had a system that utilized the deep threat more often. When you called me, I was trying to look up the targets because I wanted to see how many targets that Amon-Ra St. Brown had last year and how many targets that Jameson Williams had last year. I know
Jameson Williams had 91 targets last year.
How many the same Amon-Ra St. Brown had?
I don't know what St. Brown had, but I know that Jameson Williams had 91 targets, and I'll talk about his receptions when I get on the mic. Go ahead.
Word, but so that was when you gonna feed right into what I'm saying. On wide receiver, y'all heard me say this 200 times. Wide receiver is the most dependent position on the football field. So if you don't have anybody to get you the ball or whatever it is, ain't much you can do. A lot of times he's used to run off people, and that what they call it the orbit motion or whatever. And he roll. I don't know. Maybe they ain't do over once. We just run across and like keep going or whatever it is. I don't know what they call that. But he's just running people off. Like he running people off. He clearing people out for somebody to run right up under where he just cleared out. So they use him a lot to benefit other people. So if actually some of that running was actually done with him, it might be a little different. Of course, the price tag will go up, and we probably still wouldn't be able to afford him. But at least I think some of us will look at his value different. I'm not talking about anybody on this show because I feel like we all think that he's pretty valuable and things like that. But some people out there are saying we could just let him go. We can get another speed threat, all that kind of stuff, which is probably true, but it won't be Jameson Williams. Each one of those speed threats, in my opinion, are a little bit different. I remember years ago, Kansas City had lost Tyreek Hill, or was that when it happened? They drafted, maybe they didn't lose him, but they had drafted Mecole Hardman. And he was like, super fast. I think he ran like a 4.2 something or 4.3 right out of college, whatever it was. He had the same career. It's different by being just fast because fast ain't just it. You got to actually be able to do other stuff. And James Williams, I believe he can do some of that other stuff. He's shown that he can take the screen 100 miles an hour away. He could take a short crosser, all the way home. He can do a bunch of stuff. But it may not be in the cards for him to be here. I would have loved for him to stay. if there was no salary cap, break the bank and keep him here. But I don't know if it's. I said all of that stuff I just said to say I don't really know if he's going to resign just because of the money.
Yeah. So
St. Brown had 100. St. Brown had 141 targets for St. Brown last season.
Was that good enough piggybacking for you, Curt? I mean, Mike.
Oh my God! Y'all killing me.
I mean, Amon-Ra, you know what? People question, like, man, that's a lot of money. But when you look at it, he had his rookie year, he had 119 targets, and then he had 146 targets, and he had 164 targets. So, and Curt just said he had 141 targets.
Yeah, when I throw the ball to you 141 times, of course, the numbers are always going to look different when you are getting thrown the ball.
Okay. Let me give my take, because I don't understand all this fucking negativity y'all got this morning. I don't know what's going on with y'all this morning. Y'all got a lot of negative. That's some negative Nellies this morning. I don't know what's going on with y'all, man.
That's what's Mike.
Yeah, I have no clue it's just a lot of negativity going on with Jamo, right? So I'll tell you this. If you had asked me before last season, I would have thought that Jamo would be a one done guy here, one contract and done in Detroit. But he really stepped up last season, man. He showed us why the Lions traded up to number 12 to grab him in 2022. It's impressive that he missed 2 games last year and still racked up that 1,000-yard receiving with less than 60 catches. He had 58 catches and 1,000 yards. That's ridiculous, right? And here's the other thing that I like what's going on with Jameson Williams. His impact in the community of Detroit is becoming legendary. He goes places that most players wouldn't even think twice about going. He pays for people's groceries. He holds football camps for kids. And he eats in some of those spots that us regular folks go and eat. It's not the high price meals. He goes to some of those places, like getting Coney's, off of 6 Mile or whatever else he's going. That dude he in the community, you know what I'm saying? And I love seeing this for him last season, right? They played a game and him and Kirby Joseph were out doing a coat drive, signing autographs, taking pictures. And I'm looking at this dude like, that dude, he's a man of the people, and he goes where he feels comfortable, and he feels comfortable in the city of Detroit. Now, I will say this. It makes sense for the Lions to exercise a 5th-year option before signing him to a new deal. And the reason being why is that you said it right, that they want to see a little more for him, and it makes sense financially because of the fact that this played that big contract to St. Brown. And I know that they have some financial kind of flexibility with some of those contracts with Jared Goff and St. Brown and Penei Sewell. And they can be able to find that money to sign a Jameson Williams. The Lions and Brad Holmes talking about, and I'll talk about this when I'm talking about his segment, when I talk about Brad Holmes in a minute. They have 5 first-rounders that they want to re-sign, right? And to be honest with you, he said that they got 2 guys in the second round that they have first-round grades on. So that makes it 7 first-round draft picks that they want to re-sign. And that's how he really put it. So you look at a guy, and that's got to include Jameson Williams, because you look at all those 5 first rounders he was in that group. It makes sense to kind of kick the can down the road on him because of the fact that it gives them financial flexibility to kind of rework some of those deals that they already signed and get him under that cap. And of course, the salary caps keeps going up and up. So you want to be financially stable, and like you said, they just re-signed St. Brown. So go ahead with another receiver. Go ahead and do that 5th-year option so you can keep him on the books and kick his deal down the road. They're not going to let Jamo out the building because he's going to get even better this year. And y'all talk about, the explosive plays, LL. Guess what the one thing that the new offensive coordinator wants to do? He wants to throw the ball down the field. So Jameson Williams is going to be even a bigger impact this season and next season because he's in the 4th year this year. So 5th year is next year. So yeah, it's going to be on. And Jameson Williams is not going to get out of the building he continues to grow and mature, and he continues to do the things he's doing not only on the field but in the city of Detroit. He's become a more and more of a hot commodity to stay in the city of Detroit than he is to let him walk out the building. So, Coach Jones, you get a half bossed up because you said you wanted to restay, but you get the other half is your negativity gets.
No, I'm not being negative. I'm just taking the tone that Brad Holmes gave in his interview. He was non-committal. So I'm taking that tone, and I feel like you the cousin that, and when he explained it, he gonna make you feel better about it. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see it the way you saw it. I saw it as like, yeah, we do it because I'm looking at him like, because a lot of GMs will exercise a 5th-year option to make sure that they can keep him. Okay, I want to keep this player on the roster. I can't do it right now, so they can
right.
Look at what happened down in Cincinnati, right? With the other wide receiver, 5th-year option, then they franchise tag him. So all of a sudden he gets his big deal, T. Higgins, to stay in Detroit. I mean, stay in Cincinnati, excuse me. So it could be a situation like that where they can keep him on the roster. They just kind of have to kick it down the road till they can financially do it in a responsible way. So that's all I'm saying.
Most definitely. Like I said, you explained it how I wanted, but I was just more cutthroat about it. Like, look, this is what it is. You know.
What you got, LL?
2 things actually look like Mike doing some piggyback in there. Yeah, you said what I said, coach, but just different. And number 2, if he's not gonna be on, because I don't know if I heard anybody say this, but this is like the obvious question. If we're not gonna re-sign him, do you think they'll trade him, or you think that they should trade him?
Absolutely not. I don't want him going. I don't want him nowhere near.
I don't want him going either. But
yeah. Right, I don't want him going.
Me neither. Let me say that part first. I hope that came through. I really like Jameson Williams. I don't want him to go nowhere. But if it becomes clear that we can't sign him, I think and that's only in that instance, right? In that window of if it becomes clear that he ain't, we can't afford him or whatever it is, we ain't getting him back. I feel like you got to get something for him. You got to do it.
Oh, you don't let him walk in free agency. You have to trade him. But I agree with that 100%. But I wouldn't want to. I want Jamo in Detroit for the long foreseeable future. That's just how I feel. Hey man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. The Boss Up Ball Out podcast is sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink. My favorite flavor is Irish Stripe, which brings you a blue tropical punch flavor. You know we keep it Honolulu blue right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. It's the ultimate fuel for conquering all that is ahead of you. Here are some benefits. Get laser focused with green coffee fruit extract, which is the star of the show because it helps you concentrate. The drink provides brain food with L-taurine, L-tyrosine, and L-glutamine, and L-citrulline, which is all selected as the best amino acids that enhance brain function. It has the most brain-boosting vitamins such as B3, B6, B12, and vitamin C. The energy comes from 150 milligrams of caffeine per servings. No sugar. That's a big thing for your boy Curt. I got that type 2. The sugars. No maltodextrin or artificial colors or dyes. No fillers or BS. Costs about $1 per drink, which beats your coffee or canned drink beverage price. No crashes or jitters or anxiety. You can find the link to buy Dubby in the description of this video and use the code BossUpBallOutPod, all caps, at checkout to get 10% off your order. Take on the day with Dubby. All right, man. Dubby. Now, my man LL, brother, you need to talk. You was gonna bring in some talk about some defensive end prospects, man. So what you got, my man?
Well, just defensive linemen prospects. But yeah, most of them is defensive ends. But yeah, I looked at offensive line prospects last week. So this time we're gonna look at defensive line prospects. I hope that Coach Mike will help us out with one of these because he accused me of changing his mind off of this pick. So we're gonna see what he know about this gentleman. So I give you your time to get your notes up, Coach Mike. But the first up, and this is just depending on what pick that we have and or at certain picks and stuff like that. These first couple of guys is, maybe in range. I'm not going to say necessarily at 28. I already mentioned some of those names, some guys like JTT, maybe even Kenneth Grant, things like that. Those are bigger names out there. But I'm looking at maybe like a guy option at pick 60. And this is a big old guy from Ole Miss, and that's Jared Ivey. Allegedly, he goes 6'6", 274. Came or transferred from Georgia. Was a college or a basketball athlete in high school as well. Let's see here. What was it? It was one main thing because I wanted to keep it short because I feel like I'll go long on these. But it was one main thing. A couple things. One of his pro comps is Josh Pascal. And everything that I've seen on him, and from what I could see just watching it, very strong at the punch, at the point of attack, real strong hands. Different than some of these other guys, real big. But the knock on him is that his first step isn't that fast. Of course, he's a bigger guy, 6'6", 274. If you blazing fast, you ain't gonna be around it. So you probably won't be around at 6, let alone 60. So there's an option, Jared Ivey. Next up, I'm going to go with Coach Mike Jones's, ironically, play cousin, Savion Jones. This is a versatile defensive lineman out of the University of the Louisiana State University. This gentleman goes 6'5", 280. One of this gentleman's comps is Braden Trice. I don't really know if I like that comparison because I don't know if Braden Trice has really showed anything in the league, but that's his pro comp. That's one of his pro comps. 3-sport athlete in high school. He has the report on him is that he has a good initial burst off the snap. He has very good strength and shows decent pass rush moves. One of his knocks is he's raw. So he has some moves, but I guess he just needs to work on them, which we can help him to do. And those are, and like I said, those are maybe options at 60-ish, maybe even as low as 60 to 102, maybe Savion Jones in that area. Another gentleman that I have on the list for an option for possibly pick number like in the hundreds, like 102, 130, 196-ish. These are a couple of guys. First being Elijah Roberts, and this gentleman goes 6'4", 285 out of SMU. The rap on him, well, a lot of these guys pretty much he's a 4-star recruit, very strong hands, very strong at the punch, decent pass rush moves. The knock on him is change of direction ability. One of his player comps was, let's see if anybody, one of his, I don't know any of these guys, so I'm not going to mention them, but some of his player comps are some NFL players that we ain't heard of. So we don't really know by name. So that's not necessarily the best thing. But I feel like Casey Rogers and Shep could maybe mold some of these guys into something. And this guy, he shows some promise. I'm trying to find his numbers. He had decent sack numbers as well. Another defensive line, so not necessarily an edge player, but a interior defensive lineman option at maybe 130-ish is, or maybe like 102, 130-ish is a great big old boy out of Kentucky, Deion Walker. I don't know if y'all seen him at the combine or anything like that. He's a great big old dude. He is 6'7", 331 they give him. And one site that I saw, they had him at 6'8", 340. Either way, he's a great big old boy. His player comp is, well, one of them is, two of them that we know is Travis Jones and Keanu Benton, two names that you heard on the L. Cool Torrance mock draft last year, and two players that are major contributors on their NFL teams. Deion Walker the good thing on him is another former basketball athlete. Pretty good tackler, 132 tackles, 22 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks over 3 seasons. 132 tackles. That only breaks down to about 40 a season, but as a guy that big on the interior, I think that's pretty decent. Of course, it could be better, but I think that's pretty decent. In 2023, he led the SEC. He led the Kentucky, not the SEC, but just led Kentucky with 12 and a half tackles for loss and 7.5 sacks. Pretty good numbers. A rare blend of mass and mobility. So there's too many concerns about him being able to move around at that great big old size that he is. And the knock on him is conditioning, which, that big, I'm big, but I'm not as tall as him. And I have conditioning issues too. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it should be expected. You know what I'm saying? A big old dude like that, he ain't going to be out there running around all day. But that's, you can build into that anyway. That's what they're going to do for him. Cutting some of that weight would help with that. But, they got to feel like he would want to play bigger or heavier anyway. An option for one of our later picks, like 196, 228-ish. This gentleman, Darius Alexander, interior defensive lineman out of the University of Toledo. This gentleman goes 6'4", 305. One of his player comps is another one, same as the last gentleman, Travis Jones. I think they call him the Don. He had a pretty good season. His sack numbers, I don't really know what his sack numbers was, but you've seen him a lot. You heard his name a lot. Travis Jones can play some good football. Excuse me. Let's see what we got here. One of the pros on this guy, they say he has coiled spring explosion off the snap. Sounds pretty good. One of his knocks is Coach Mike, his pad level. They say it's consistency, so it isn't necessarily a thing of he plays high like our boy, my boy, Broderick Martin, but he can have consistency issues. Sometimes he plays a little too high, but I'm certain there's drills that they can could work with him on with that. Correct, Coach? But I thought I had more, but I guess I don't. But those are my defensive linemen prospects. Some, in the middle roundish, starting at 60 to 102-ish. And then, later 196s into the 200s. Any of these guys' names stick out? Any of them that you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole?
I'll let Coach go last. I'll take mine. Yeah, I like Jay Navi. I like the size. He's a guy that we can probably get in the middle rounds, and I think a guy like Casey Rogers could definitely mold him into, what we need in Detroit. That last guy you meant, what was the last guy you mentioned?
Hold on. He is
Alexander.
Yeah, Darius
Alexander. We don't need another. We don't need another one of your friends, LL. We don't need no guy who plays with a high pad level. I'm good on him. But you look at these guys and these prospects, and all I will say is this: is that the Detroit Lions have good depth at defense on the defensive line. I think we need, as far as in the interior, I think that the edge is where I would want to go. And we know that, it just came out yesterday that Shamar Stewart from the Texas A&M Aggies was in Detroit for a top 30 visit. So, and I think they're looking at adding an edge player. So you look at a player like Jay Navi, Shamar Stewart. Those are the type of players that the Lions are trying to look at because of the type of system they play. They play that 4-3 defense, and they like the bigger defensive ends. So, I'm looking at, a guy like Ivy would definitely fit. And I think, I think it's technique. You can improve get off. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you can fix. And people say you can't coach speed, but you sure can improve it. So one of those things that you can do. So I like, that's the name that stood out for me. And you can get a guy like him with his size, and he fits the bill for what the Lions want to do on the defensive line. What you got, Coach Jones?
Yeah, I think Ivy is a good prospect. That's a guy I wouldn't mind getting, the secondary guy. I feel like all these guys have something in common, and is that you would draft them as your second defensive lineman. We all want a guy who's a bona fide starter day one. So with that being said, like Ivy's get off is his thing. But if you want to go to Savion Jones, he's kind of reversed. His get off, he has good get off. It's just his counter moves. If he don't beat you, get the jump on you, he hasn't displayed his ability to counter and to set up his move. So it's more kind of like a bull rush guy. He's kind of more of a Josh Pascal type of guy where he doesn't really do a whole lot. He's just gonna beat you or not. I don't know if that's something that he can, change. He being it says 6'4 3/4, 6'5", and he's 280. I don't really know if that's in his tool bag to really, develop those type of moves. 'Cause it says he's versatile, so he can slide, probably in the 3 tech and things like that, man. But he's an interesting prospect that I wouldn't mind. You in the 4th round and you grab him up. But I don't know much about Darius Alexander. That high pad level kind of scared me because, like Curt said, we already got Roderick Martin, and it's like, man, what don't you understand, man? Get low. But yeah, I mean, you would figure that you tell a guy in a couple of weeks, and then he just get low. But Roderick, I don't know, man. But Darius Alexander is a athletic guy. He's a strong dude. So I don't think that power is necessarily going to be one of his things that they got to work on. Like Roderick Martin, because Roderick Martin was just a big old boy. But I think Darius Alexander is he's stronger because he from the SEC conference. So yeah, man, I wouldn't mind any of these guys in the middle to late rounds, 4th round or so. But I'm really looking at Savion Jones. I think he does fit that mold of what they want in Detroit. So I give you a boss up, LL.
Yeah. We need to be playing Yin Yang Twins whenever Broderick Martin out there on doing his drills because he sure ain't getting low.
And that's just for clarification. They said consistency. That's all they said. Sometimes he can play with a high pad. Sometimes they say. Sometimes. Yeah,
Broderick Martin consistently plays with a high pad level.
Pushing people over and that playing for Western Kentucky. He just used to just bully, get out of here. And so.
Yeah. Hey, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All the teams help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans like yourself. All right, let's wrap this show with the last segment, man, and talk about Brad Holmes, man. He kept it 100 yesterday talking about free agency. Brad Holmes addressed the media during the NFL owners meeting the other day, discussing the Lions strategy and approach to free agency, emphasized financial prudence, man, noting that need to manage the salary cap space, whether with key players extension approaching, particularly Big Hutch and, of course, Kirby Joseph. Holmes mentions the importance of re-signing young talent, highlighting 5 first-round picks, as I said earlier, as well as 2 second-round picks rated as first-round talents. He compared the financial strategy of the Lions to a family budget, suggesting that big signings will have to wait. He says, hey, you can't take the dream vacation every time, man. Sometimes you just got to go to the local attractions, man, and you you may gotta go play skee ball at your local arcade instead of taking that dream vacation. Despite modest free agent activities, though, he did find some value signing quarterback DJ Reed, and he really was happy about getting Levi Onwuzurike back at a low cost. But he acknowledged that the challenge of keeping the team competitive while planning for future seasons and expressed satisfaction, with the free agency results. Actually, there's a lot of contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of media that said the Detroit Lions had a good free agency period, one of the best in the league because they didn't overspend. He was highlighting the fact of building a sustainable winning culture in Detroit. And the Lions are preparing for an upcoming season with the goal of maintaining their success, man. I've said this before several times on the show. You go 15-2 and you bring back 20 of 22 starters. That's pretty good. And, you want to make sure that you carefully evaluate the free agent market and some of the options, man. You don't want to go out there and break the bank and overspend and then really mess up the chemistry of the team. You already know what it is in Detroit, man. It's team and scheme above anything else, man. You got to fit the culture in Detroit and you got to fit the scheme before they bring you in. Just because you got a big name don't mean you're going to fit in Detroit. I like the fact that he mentioned that he understood that the Lions fans wanted him to sign players. What are y'all doing? Spend money. But you got to be mindful of the salary cap, man. You got those deals coming up. We talked about it. keeping up with the Joneses will catch up with you. We all know that, man. You just can't go out there spending willy-nilly and you think you're just gonna be, you know, saying, and now you're living paycheck to paycheck, and then those bills are gonna come due because of the fact that you're over extending yourself. Look at what happened to the San Francisco 49ers this offseason, man. They had a gang of dudes was like, I'm out, because they couldn't get their contracts that he wanted in San Francisco because of the fact they had to make all this room for Brock Purdy. What did the Lions do? They make these longer they get ahead of the curve, right? You look at Jared Goff's deal people were complaining about Jared Goff's deal came too early, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's deal came too early, and Penei Sewell's deal came too early, and Liam McNeil's extension came too early. Guess what? The market has been reset since all of those deals have happened, and guess what? We got those players now on a decent deal with the salary cap coming up, moving up, and expanding. The Lions are in a good place as far as making sure that they can be financially frugal and financially stable in the future. And he was like, man, sometimes you just got to make sure you're taking care of your own players. Good teams draft well and play their own players. We've said this time and time again on this show. Bad teams like the Bears have to go out and spend free agency money year after year after year after year after year because they can't get it right in the draft. So I like what Brad Holmes said about keeping it real, you know, saying something about, hey, man, I ain't got it. I you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got it, man. I know y'all want us to spend this money, but I ain't got it, man, because I'm making sure that I'm taking care of our own players and make sure we can sign them in the future. So what do you guys think about Brad Holmes really just keeping it 100 about spending in free agency? So I'm going to let LL go first because I'm looking at his face. What you got, LL?
You know, I think I might have put that on one of the videos as well. You had called him like you had called him something bargain.
Dollar General Brad.
Yeah, and I more like bargain basement Brad. I like that one a little bit better, but I don't know, man. I feel like this is good and bad. This is Lion season still. He probably right. Like, I mean, watching say he probably right. He is right in the sense of trying to be responsible and things like that. But we didn't see that the cap is almost fake to some of these teams. And I'm not saying I want to be like those guys either. But you know, I don't know. I'm with some of these decisions. I'm just in waiting to see mode because that's really all it is for to be done. Some of these deals or some of those bigger deals are deals now, quote unquote, but you know they still high as hell. You know, paying Jared Goff $53 million is still $53 million, even though he's probably like the 8th highest paid quarterback now. It's still a whole lot of money, holding up a whole lot of cap. You know, if been in any of this, one of the guys who I don't complain about any other contracts because whatever, get your bread and it ain't mine to pay. But Penei Sewell is worth every single half cent of that deal because that's it's kind of shows. But everybody else, I probably wouldn't have paid that high. But again, the market. So you kind of, if you want to keep them, you might gotta do some of that stuff, and it's gonna get icky soon, man. Like you named, like you said, I ain't got to name the names. You said 7 of them. And that's, however many with this actual first rounders and then people that they have first round grades on. And those are all guys, all of those names are guys that I don't want to lose. And I believe that everybody else out there would not want to lose. So we're going to see what Brad going to do, man. I trust that he'll make some good move, some decisions or whatever it is. I'm just waiting to see. It'd be amazing to see if we keep all of these guys, though. That would be truly amazing, but I don't know how likely that is. It probably could happen because, like I just, the cap is fake for some of these teams. So maybe that's an instance where it'll become fake for us. Maybe they start doing some of that, some of those gymnastics to make some of this stuff fit for some of the players that we actually want to keep around. So I'm in wait and see mode. I'm in Brad, I wait and see is my slogan, I guess.
I think the one thing that, as far as looking at those deals that we've signed, they've made sure they had some financial flexibility to make sure they make extensions to, you look at Jared Goff, you can restructure his contract and open up some cap space. And I think you do that with most of those contracts where you can. They were responsible enough to make it where they had some loopholes to make sure they can restructure and get some more room under the salary cap. Like I said, salary cap can be fluid, but you have to have the ability to make sure that you can sign those players you want to sign and make sure you're signing these deals where you can get these guys under contract and make sure you can have it where you can restructure, like I said, and get these more guys that you want to sign under contract. All right, Coach Jones, man.
They should restructure Jared Goff down, and then so we could pay some of these guys.
Please,
man.
bro. You killing me. All the Jared Goff hate, man. We're going past the Jared Goff hate. Yeah. All right, Coach Jones, what you got?
That's not hate. It's flexibility.
We really want to keep all our players in Detroit, but the realism of it is we probably not going to be able to keep everybody. I hope we can, but and I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of the ones who want to get that big superstar that push us over the top. That's just me being a fan. I think we all as fans want to see that extra, that superstar that just y'all going to Super Bowl this year, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, if you can re-sign 90% of your starters, or 92, 93% of your starters from a 15-2 team, I give you an A+ grade. Because most of those teams, guys go. Like, they go. And that just has to come with the type of guys that they bring in, because they bring in high character guys who aren't selfish. Like, Levi Onwuzurike could have walked. Let's just be clear about that. He could have walked. Derek Barnes could have walked. They could have went to a team who was willing to overpay for guys and just went and got their money. But part of that character that they always look for in a guy is the reason why those guys are still here. So while we're like, man, Brad, just go outside the box one time, that also is the reason why we still have players that are meaningful to this team. So it's just so up and down. One minute you're like, oh, Brad, just get him, please. But then you see all the guys that he re-signed, you're like, man, we probably wouldn't be able to re-sign him if we got him, or so it's give and take, man. But Brad doing the best job, man. And like I said, he re-signed the 15-2 squad, so I ain't got no quarrels with it, Brad.
Yeah. Hey, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. And if you haven't done so already, you got to follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms. Coach Jones does a great job with his Wolverine Lions Sports Talk channel, and he does some great shorts work over here on this channel, and as well as his Beyond the Ropes boxing playlist. So go check that out. I post content from this show on all of my social media platforms, and of course, it's Hump Day, baby, which means it's Thursday Eve right here on the show. So make sure you go and check out LL's Instagram page tomorrow for Thursdays, man. It goes down on Thursdays on LL's Instagram page. All right, time for parting shots for today's show. Coach Jones, what you got?
Yeah, man, happy Hump Day. It's the middle of the week, man. So everybody, pull them pants up, pull them sleeves up. You know what I'm saying? It get thick today. But man, just stay tuned to Boss Up Ball Out Network. We're gonna keep you updated on all the free agency, all the draft moves, all the rumors, everything. If you want, you tune in to Boss Up Ball Out podcast, and we're gonna let you know what it is.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what you got, LL?
I think it get thick tomorrow per Curt, but happy Wednesday morning, y'all. One quick way to solve all of our cap problems: cut Jared Goff's salary down to the minimum. Poof, everything solved. But have a great rest of your Wednesday. Shout out to Lauren Vander Esch over there at In My Panther Pride. I don't know if he did it yet, but keep an eye out. He's doing some, I don't know if I can say it, but he's got some things for the fans. So if y'all check out, y'all might can win something. So make sure that y'all have your eyes on what he's doing over there, and what we're doing over here as well, and what whatever may happen on Thursdays or who's ever story out there. So have a great day.
Yeah, of course, man. Make sure you have a great day at work. Thank you for starting your work day off with us here on the Boss Up All Our podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. And Brad Holmes will restructure Jared Goff's contract when is right, and it won't be this. Please, with all the Jared Goff hate, you be killing me, dude. You be killing. The guy went 15-2 last year, and you just be killing me. But hey, all right. What we need to do definitely is, man, make sure you have a good day at work, man. If you're having a good day, make sure you spread the joy, because you never know when a kind word can make someone's day and make them have a better day. If you're not having a good day, please don't steal no one else's joy. And of course, whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, fall out, and be the best version of you that you can be. From my fellas, LL Cool Tones and Coach Mike Jones, this is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.